Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. We've got an exciting episode for you today. We are joined by two members of TiER1 Performance, Katie Frey and Greg Harmeyer, who will be talking with us about TiER1's 20th anniversary, as well as their Scurry for Mental Health event, which is happening later this year. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsors, Harmeyer and Heartland Bank. Before we get to the rest of the episode, I want to talk to everyone about an upcoming chamber event. NKYP Lunchtime Leader Chat will happen on March 22nd. We will welcome Brady Jolly of Jolly Enterprises to discuss his experience as the young leader of a thriving local business. The event will also afford attendees the opportunity to network with one another while engaging with and learning from business leaders like Jolly. And in case you missed it, the Northern Kentucky Chamber has an exciting new partnership with Fifth Third centered around our DEI committee efforts. Some of the initiatives that will be powered by the partnership with Fifth Third Bank are establishing a database of underrepresented businesses to facilitate the support of minority-owned businesses and producing programming to assist members with their efforts to attract, retain a diverse workforce. So that's events like our diversity mixer and intentionally building diverse connections. To learn more about the Northern Kentucky Chamber's DEI initiatives powered by Fifth Third Bank, visit nkychamber.com or reach out to Ashley Dubois at 859-578-6396. Now, let's meet our members of the week and talk to Katie and Greg.
CVG Airport is the lowest fare airport in the tri-state region with 54 nonstop flights and direct international service to 7 destinations, including Paris, France, and now home to both DHL's and Amazon's global cargo hubs. The airport is furthering its position as leader in aviation and is deeply committed to being an economic driver for the community. You can learn more and start your next adventure at cvgairport.com.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Taste on Elm is a specialty food market and cafe featuring local and international products, cheese, charcuterie, wine, gourmet foods, and more. Jackson Family Law has been providing family law services for Northern Kentucky residents since 1996. Leadership Bridges helps leaders develop, boards succeed, and organizations excel. Spotted Yeti is 100% woman-owned and WBENC certified. They are also celebrating their 10-year anniversary this year. Steinhauser is a 4th-generation family-owned custom label and shrink sleeve printer that is 100% woman-owned. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I am here today with Greg Harmeyer. He is the CEO of TiER1 Performance, and we are also joined by Katie Frey. She is the COO of TiER1 Performance. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so let's get started. Tell me about TiER1 and what you all do.
So we are a strategy activation consulting firm. We work with mostly large organizations on activating their strategies through people. So every organization out there has some type of strategic initiatives going on, from acquisitions, product launches, onboarding programs, scaling up their organization. All of them require people to know and do something different. And we work on the people side of that. So helping people do their best work while aligning them with the strategies of the organization.
Nice. And you guys have been around for a while. It's not your first rodeo. In fact, 2022 is your 20th anniversary. What has kept you guys thriving for so long?
I think it's definitely our people. That's our differentiator for sure, but also our clients. We are fueled by our clients' needs, entirely client-centric and serving them and partnering with them. We want to be extensions of their team. And we've continued to grow through different types of clients, industries, geographies, and that has really fueled our growth. But it is a passion of our mission, to improve organizations through the performance of people and ultimately to build a better world.
Yeah, we think we have a pretty unique culture, and it engages people. I mean, part of our intention is to engage people at their fullest, help them, bring their strengths and their talents to the organization and put them in a position to serve our clients. And in the, over 20 years of growth, it really has been adding great people to the mix, putting them with great clients and finding creative ways to add value to them.
Yeah. And you both mentioned your employees, the people that you guys work with. Something really cool about your company is that it's 100% employee owned. How did that come about? Why do you guys do that?
We have always been a very long-term oriented organization. We believe that organizations exist to serve people, and that we've tried to create a culture that helps, enrich the lives of our employees and of the people that we touch, the communities, the clients, the prospects, the people that serve us. We're very passionate about creating an environment that has a meaningful impact on people's lives. And as we thought through that and thought about the long term of where this goes, a lot of sales of companies can be very disruptive to these cultures and to the people in them. Creating an employee-owned structure both gave our own employees an opportunity to truly own the organization, not just own the culture, which they always did. So have a meaningful stake in the outcomes and the financial well-being of the organization, but it also gave us longevity. So we don't have this pressure to be sold to another organization someday. And it just gave us the ability to continue to build off the things that we were trying to do.
Yeah, that is very cool. You talked about the culture. You also have a really unique program within your company called Start the Conversation. Can you tell us a little bit about that one? I think that's really, really cool.
We do. This goes back 5 or 6 years or more, where we had the convergence of a couple of things happen. One was we wanted to contribute our talents to the community. We have incredible talents around learning and development and communications and creative. And we always felt like we're happy to donate financially to organizations in the community. And we've always done that. But the real contribution we can make is the talents that we have. And we started thinking about how could we apply those in a meaningful way. And we felt like mental health was a big area of need. And so we approached the Linder Center of Hope up in Mason and talked to them about how could we help. And one of the things they pointed out was like businesses really struggle with supporting their people through mental health. They just don't even have resources, don't know where to start. And so we thought, well, that's what we do for a living. We create programs like that. Why don't we create one in this space? And why don't we start, pilot it on ourselves? And so we did that in 2015, and it's a month-long program that helps organizations help their people open up about mental health and just destigmatize it and know how to get support. We've since given it away. I think there's about 15 companies that have used it, and we're giving it to many other, any organization that wants it really at this point. But it's been super impactful. Of all that, we've collected a ton of data on it, but one of the things that we've collected one of the things that I would like to cite is 68% of our people that went through it said because of the program, they had a conversation with a loved one about mental health or mental illness. And that's what it's all about, is helping people destigmatize and start the conversations.
And TiER1 goes back to the program each year too, just so we continue to, as we're growing, bringing new people in and making sure they're aware of it as well.
Yeah, we went back through it during COVID because it was just a timely thing for all of us to deal with. And again, we've given it away even more. And it fits with what we do because we're so passionate about helping people do their best work. You can't show up in an organization dealing with mental health challenges of your own or with others in your family or loved ones and be your fullest best self if you don't know where to turn or how to get support. So it's a really important thing for businesses to pay attention to, is how they're supporting their people.
Yeah, I think that's really a really interesting and a really timely point. You guys started doing this in 2015. Right now, that conversation in workplaces is really centered around burnout and retaining employees and making sure that they're well taken care of. For businesses and business owners and managers that are listening to this podcast, when you guys go through the program, what's one of the big takeaways that you think that people can take away and use in their day-to-day lives? Obviously, it's not the whole program, but just kind of a tidbit.
Well, I think that one of the biggest takeaways that I see over and over is people recognizing how prevalent mental health and mental illness is really. Like in our own company, when we first surveyed people, we asked, do you have a loved one that's ever dealt with this? And 94% of people said they have a loved one dealing with some type of mental illness. I don't think people realize that. And so that's the beginning of the destigmatization of it, is to just help people realize how normal it is to deal with mental health challenges, just like it is physical health challenges. And once you start that, then it gets into where do you go to get resources, and what type of conversation, how might you start a conversation, and what types of things should you know just to be comfortable around, like what types of mental illnesses there are and how they're different. So some of it's just education, a lot of it's just encouraging people to be supportive.
Probably starting simple. It's asking the question, like, and it's meant to be authentic, but like, how are you? Like the true check-in with individual team members and teams themselves. Like it's just an easy way to start.
I think that's a great point. I think, so often we almost ask the question of like, how are you doing? And it's like a rhetorical question, I'm doing good, versus kind of taking a deeper discussion with people to really try to pay attention. How are you doing on multiple levels, and what's going on in your life? And if you want to help people perform at their best, you have to be willing to kind of engage with them on the holistic part of who they are.
Yeah, that's good. And you guys don't just do the Start the Conversation program. You guys also have the Scurry. That is one of your big programs. It was on hiatus for a while and it's back. So take us through that. Tell us about it. It sounds like a really exciting event.
Yeah, and it's awesome that we're bringing it back in our 20th anniversary too. It's certainly something big for us to be celebrating. So yes, after a 2-year hiatus, we're bringing it back. We Scurry for mental health, recognizing just how prevalent it is as a public health issue and in our communities. So we are joining forces with local business owners and community members to continue to activate awareness around mental health. But if you think of it as, similar to like the Amazing Race concept, maybe a little less sweat, a lot more fun. And so, since we started it, we raised more than $250,000 for local mental health initiatives as well. So it's significant for us and something that we'll be looking forward to this year.
Yeah. And when does that start? When can people start looking for that, checking out and figuring out how to get involved?
They can now. We have an active website for people to start learning more, and certainly an opportunity to register as a team or think about sponsorship as well.
Okay, perfect. And then in addition to the Scurry for your 20th year, is there anything else that your company is doing this year to celebrate, to, really, 20 years is a pretty big deal.
It is, and we're still thinking about all the small and big ways we want to celebrate. A big milestone for us each year is our annual company meeting, where we try to bring everyone together in person. So we're going to make a big celebration out of that this year, and that will be in the fall, and it'll align well with our actual 20th year date too. But we're looking at the small and big ways to recognize all the contributions that even our TiER1 alum, have contributed to our history, and celebrating our clients and looking at it both from a geography or regional perspective, but just locally, of course, how can we continue to create connectivity and basically any excuse to celebrate, we're going to create it this year.
Yeah, it's kind of a theme for the whole entire year. And one of the things we think about is, like, as Katie was saying, that those who used to work here and made a mark on who we are, we want to celebrate them. We've done acquisitions over the years. We want to celebrate the roots of the companies that we've acquired, the communities that we serve, the people who support us. We see us as a larger ecosystem. So whether it's our accounting firms or law firms, or the security guards that work outside at the desk that we see every morning, like all of those people are important to us. And we think it's important for organizations to recognize, like, we're a part of a community. We've always felt that way. And so that kind of broader celebration of the entire community we're a part of is important to us.
Yeah, that kind of leads right into one of the questions I wanted to ask. You guys have been around for a while and you've worked with huge companies across the country. What has kept you in Northern Kentucky?
We started with 3 of us in it's gone now, but it was once called the Madison E-Zone. It was an incubator, and that's where our first office was. And then we moved a block away, and then we moved across the street to the Grand, what's now the Grand Ballroom area and building, and then down the street to River Center, where we've been for 10 years now. along the way, from the very beginning, when we started in the E-Zone, Covington and Northern Kentucky kind of wrapped their arms around us. We felt it from the very beginning, just the support system, the encouragement, the excitement about us. We were like, we're kind of nobody, and yet we were treated like we were really important. And people really wanted to see us succeed. And we felt that from the very beginning, the kind of local organizations, politicians. I mean, it's always been supportive. And so as we've grown, we've just always felt a loyalty to it. We just felt a part of this community. And obviously, we're a part of the broader greater Cincinnati region. We have offices in 8 cities now. Those communities are really important to us as well. So it's not just one thing. We encourage that in every region that we're in, is to engage in the community. But Covington definitely has a special place for us.
And many of our own Tier 1ers call Covington home,
Yes.
Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, I am also a Northern Kentuckian. I left and came back. I was gone for a very brief period of time. It's so nice to hear that you guys, since the beginning, have really felt a kinship with the area. I know our business community with the chamber really tries to make sure all of our businesses are really welcome. So it's great that you guys have been here for 20 years and are thriving. One of the Yeah, well, good. One of the last things that I want to ask, especially because you guys deal with talent internally, what are some things that you guys have been seeing? I know there's a really big stress on that now with the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic, and we're talking about this great resignation that's happening. What are some insights that you guys can share about that?
Well, there's no question everybody's stretched for talent, and it literally is everywhere. It's the positive of it. It's bringing to the forefront that companies really need to pay attention to kind of how they're showing up for their employees. And so one of the things we're seeing with our clients is a lot more attention to culture and employee experience and things like that. And how do you design an environment that engages people and helps them at their best? And so there's a lot of good there. We've talked internally about the Great Resignation, thinking about it more as the Great Reflection. Like, it's a great time for people to think about who they are and where they want to be and make that intentional choice. And that can be a healthy thing. And we're also paying attention to, like, people are figuring out how much, there's a lot of push about people wanting to work virtually, but there's also a lot of people who want to be connected. And there's a lot of people for mental health reasons and other reasons that need to be connected. Mm-hmm. It's good for overall wellness. And so we're paying attention to those dynamics, as is everybody, but it's certainly an interesting time.
Yeah, and I think as we reflect internally too for ourselves and the talent that we want to keep bringing into Tier 1 and growing, we want this to be more than a job for someone too. It means something to be an employee owner. It means something to help bring value to our clients. And that's part of our own reflection, I think, as part of this too.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I think every company's got to figure out, like, who do you want to be? Not just what's expedient right now, but like, who are you going to be in the long term? And we've had a lot of conversations about that. Like, what kind of environment are we wanting to grow? What is the mutual commitment? Like, what do we want to share with recruits who we're trying to be? We want people to come in and be owners and be in it for the long haul and be connected into our organization. Every company has to make those decisions of who they're going to be. And there's a lot of challenge to that right now. So yeah, there's a lot of shifting dynamics. It's a tough topic for a lot of companies, I think.
Yeah. And then Greg, Katie, is there anything else you want to impart to our podcast guests before I let you go today?
We just appreciate the chance to be on with you all. I think it's like, as we said, we're big fans of Northern Kentucky. We're big fans of the region, and just really honored to be a part of it all.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, well, thank you both again. Congratulations on your 20th anniversary, and I am looking forward to the Scurry later this year.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Sarah.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
So Heartland is celebrating its 110th anniversary this year. Recently, we partnered with the Kinkle family and the Fisher family in northern Kentucky, Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties. And we have 3 offices there to serve the northern Kentucky region. Just remember, when the economy heats up, come see us at Heartland Bank, where banking really feels good.
Come on over to Heartland, where banking feels good.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed those words from our sponsors, as well as that conversation with Katie and Greg. Hope you guys will take part in the Scurry later this year. I think it's going to be a really exciting program. Thanks again to our sponsors, CVG, C Crew Consulting, Haran, and Heartland Bank. Don't forget that March is Women's History Month. You can check out our spotlights on past outstanding women of Northern Kentucky honorees on our social media channels. We've honored so many great women in the past. We want to continue to do so this month. And finally, if you're a member who would like to be featured on the Northern Kentucky Spotlight podcast, or if you're interested in joining the Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. You can find her contact information in our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks again for joining me today. I will talk to you guys next week.